Have you ever heard the saying, disappear for 6 months and you'll get your life together and get more accomplished than you ever believed possible? I've heard that a lot, but I never fully understood it until recently when I kind of accidentally did it myself. So today I want to talk about the 6 month challenge that honestly didn't even know was a challenge until I started Googling it because I was hearing more about it, reading things about it, and accidentally experienced it in my own life. So if you've heard this yourself, if you have ever tried it or been curious, this is definitely the episode for you because we are going to dive into what it means, what it looks like, and how it can completely change your life. So let's go. Are you too busy to prep healthy meals? Do you feel self-conscious about your body and your clothes not fitting right, but you don't have time to work out? Does your life feel unorganized and messy? Do you wish you had routines and habits that made health simple, even with your busy schedule? I know, I've been there. Hi, I'm Shannon Marquita, and no one ever really taught me how to eat healthy. I didn't know anything about nutrition, so I found myself eating whatever was easy, which definitely impacted my energy, weight, and focus. That's why I created this podcast, to show you that through healthy habits and time management, you can know you're doing health right. So stop scrolling social, clicking the ads, and buying all the things. Let's grab our Americano and pop in our AirPods. It's time to solve the real problem together. Welcome home. A fresh start awaits. 6 months. Doesn't that seem like such a long time? Like, to me, it does and doesn't. You could think about it one way where it's half of a year. I mean, that's a big deal in and of itself. But also 6 months, you kind of just blink and it goes by, right? You start the year and then it's summer and then all of a sudden it's the holidays and, well, I guess we kind of just did 12 months, but I don't know, 6 months just seems to go really quickly in a lot of ways. But if you pause and think about it, it's a really big deal. If you haven't heard of the 6 month challenge, it's basically a personal development challenge that focuses on improving yourself in 6 months. So that can look like whatever you want it to. For some people, it might look like a physical change. It might look like nutritional change. It might look like a work change or simply a habit and consistency change. It could be all of the above. Honestly, it's 6 months. And in my experience, even prior to this, what I always have realized is one change triggers another because it affects all aspects of your life. But that's true in this 6 month challenge as well. So I did a little bit of math and I'm going to probably do some during this episode too. But 6 months, if you think about it, if you on average say that there are 30 days in a month, that's 180 days. Now, if we think about 24 hours in a day, that's 4,320 hours in 6 months. What can you do with that much time? Honestly, you can do a lot. So don't underestimate, but don't also get caught up in the nitty gritty. So for me, I accidentally did this challenge and I'm really glad that I did. I kind of wish it was on purpose, but I don't know if I would have actually done it had I planned it because 6 months seems like a really long time. Some of you might have noticed that I took a break from podcasting. What was intended to only be 1 week, maybe two, kind of turned into a few months. I came back for an episode or two and then a break happened. There were a lot of reasons for this. Some were personal, some were lack of planning, some were just kind of needing to get my focus back and head on straight and realizing what it is that I wanted to do and provide you. And with everything that got crazy in life, which is completely normal and will always happen in different seasons, I just took a step back and it ended up being for longer than I intended. But what was really great is a lot of good came from this time. I have to say thank you to so many of you guys who reached out to me just to say, hey, missing your content, how you doing? Hope everything's okay. Excited to have new episodes. All of that will never fade on me. I am forever grateful for each and every one of you who listens and who shares the value that you get out of this podcast. And if there's ever something that you want to hear more about or talk about, shoot me a DM in any avenue. It could be email, it could be social, and just let me know. I would love to touch on those subjects for you. But what happened is over this 6 months, I really leaned into my goals. I leaned into paying attention to my habits and just where my focus was, why I was noticing I was feeling overwhelmed and getting to fix it. I don't know if that quite makes sense, but that's really what I've been focusing on. And I'm excited to teach you all about it and to share what I learned, where my struggles were, what I'm still working on. So for me, just kind of feeling out of sorts, but also realizing that the end of the year is one of the craziest. I was really grateful for this group I'm in. It's with two other women who are in the business world. We're all at different seasons of life, different types of business, but just sharing what I was going through and experiencing what was on the horizon and getting to sit back and listen and appreciate the input that they had. I know on one of the cases, what they shared is, obviously, sometimes it seems so simple when someone else says it, is prepare. Like things that have been on the horizon and even still haven't yet come, but I know are already stressing me out because I know everything they're going to entail for planning and showing up and just all the different pieces. They said just plan for it. Like this isn't the first time. So anticipate, do the best you can. It's never going to be perfect, but instead of just kind of sitting and waiting for it to hit, right? Better prepare your mind, your schedule, all the pieces so that when it comes, it's not a surprise. Like it's really not a surprise because I know it's coming, but like you feel better prepared for it. So I've been doing that. I just had this really big event that I was planning for, and it's not the first time that it's occurred, but in the past I felt really stressed. And there's a lot of moving parts, people involved, etc. And this go around, I just was more intentional. I had better lists. I had better steps and to-dos and time management where at one point, I remember my mom saying, "It's going to go great. I'm excited for you." And I was really appreciative, but I honestly could say back, I'm in a really good place. Like my stress level was extremely low. I was making sure to go to bed on time, and it was just no problem to go through the different steps of this event. And that was a great feeling. And I know there's so much more to come, but feeling the positive outcomes of the planning and realizing that the stressors don't have to actually set me back and weigh me down and cause me to be sleep deprived and walk around kind of crazily and maybe accidentally snap at people. Like we can control those things, but it takes pause and intentionality. So over this past 6 months, that's what I've really been working on is better planning how I want to show up to those around me, whether it's here on the podcast, in real life. Like I really got to lean into my relationships in person and talk with people and get their perspective and just sit with those things and plan. I can't emphasize that enough. Like figure out how you want to show up. I mean, there's so many times if I'm being honest that I reflect and I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have that response, or not gonna lie, that attitude, or I wish that I said this or I didn't say that. And a lot of times that's from being rushed, it's from being stressed, it's from being overtired. And so getting to really determine how I want to be attitude wise and energy wise, it's just allowed me to be more intentional and focused. I'm not perfect, so I'm not going to lie. If you experience me in real life and I accidentally say something, I might wish that I didn't say that or could take it back, or, nobody's perfect, but I am trying to be better. And I think there's a lot to say for that as we just really take ownership of who we are. So that's one big thing that I have been focusing on over the last 6 months, as well as just habits, right? We talk a lot about how important habits are and self-discipline and consistency, and that pours over into every aspect of our life. So what it looks like for intentional movement and rest and fun time, family time, unplug time, like all of that is intentionality. Some people just think, I need to work all the time. And no, you don't, because that's not healthy. That's not going to help your state of mind. That's not going to help how you show up with your friends and with your family and in your work life either. So just creating those habits for our health and our nutrition, as well as our happiness and sanity, really has a pour over effect in every aspect of our life that I just cannot emphasize enough. And so those are probably the two main things over the last 6 months that I just see such fruit from it. And if you have ever gotten to do this 6-month challenge, whether on purpose or an accident, both count, I'd love to hear from you. Like, what did you focus on? What did you take away? What was your why? Like, why did you even embrace it and want to do it? And if you haven't done it and you're curious about it, like, what are you wanting to get out of it? What are your questions about it? For me, it became, obviously it was an accident, but it became a focus of structure. Like, how can I do my time and schedule since I really was offline? I mean, yeah, I checked social media, I checked my email, I'm still working, but I wasn't showing up on social or anything like that like I normally do. So what are you doing with your time? How are you scheduling it to make sure that you are doing the things that you say are important in order to maximize the benefits of this growth period? So if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. If you've done this, I'd also love to hear from you. If you're curious or you just want to hear more about it, I'd also love to hear from you about any of that stuff, because it just, I can't encourage you enough to, the more that you can really lean into your goals and get curious about the areas that you want to improve and focus on, it's always going to have a tenfold outcome into improving other areas of your life. Like, this is a constant work in progress. It's not like, oh, great, this was a good 6 months and now I'm done. No, like, what I learned, I'm just going to continue to grow on and learn more about, and just try to continue to embrace and improve those areas, because that's all I want to do. Like, I just want to keep showing up and being able to be the best version of myself. And then in those seasons where, right, we have some fallbacks or we slip up a little bit, it's easier to get back on track because we've had these habits and clear focus and intentional times where it's like, I know what it's like to be there. I know what that feels like to have the routines, to have the good self-talk and habits and clear focus and just showing up like I want to. And so bridging that gap and closing that and getting back on track, the time frame continues to decrease. So I've missed you guys. I'm so excited to be back, and I look forward to hearing from you. Also, can you believe it's December? Like, my mind is just blown. Sorry, real quick. That just hit me that it's already December. I feel like the last few months kind of flew by. I know December, we blink and it's just kind of like, oh, almost a new year, but I really do challenge you to slow down. Enjoy the moments. Like, wherever you are, be present, because time is our greatest commodity and it slips by so fast that, like, you're going to look back and just wish, oh, I could have had more time with so-and-so or been in this place longer. Like, enjoy the moments. You're going to get everything done. I'm not worried about that. That comes with the to-do list and the intentionality, but like, amidst all of that, if I can encourage you this month and in this season of holidays and get-togethers and busyness, is make sure you pause and slow down and are present, because you will not regret that. And if you're not sure how to do that, or you're feeling overwhelmed already, like, I have so much to do and so many places I need to be, but I also want to be present with those that I care about and attending the personal events, let's hop on a one-on-one. You can go to my website, shannonmarquita.com. That's MARQUETA. Or any of my socials, my website is there. Go ahead and click on it, and then you'll see the button for a one-on-one. We can talk about your priorities. Like, what do you have to get done? But then also, what can you get done later? I read a really funny meme recently where it said, I thought EOD meant end of December. Obviously, in the corporate world, it means end of day, so it was very funny. But like, not everything needs to get done right now. So prioritizing and knowing the difference between, hey, it needs to get done, but it can wait maybe a little longer, because you need to keep your sanity. Your personal life is also important. Your stress level to stay low, balancing the two. Let's talk about it. Let's make a realistic outline of priorities and schedules, and let's get it done. Okay, talk with you soon. If this podcast helped, challenged, or inspired you in some way, I would love it if you'd do me a huge favor and leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps me to hear from you and know how this is best serving you. And go ahead and screenshot this and share it in your stories. Tag me at Shannon Marquita. That's ShannonMarqueta. And send it over to a friend in a text who is ready for healthy changes in her life too. Let her know that this episode might serve her as well. I am just so grateful for you and would love to hear from you. Come hang out and let's connect over in my Facebook group, bit.ly.com/afreshstart, or send me a message. I look forward to seeing you back here in a few days.